Good afternoon, dear learners. This is Dr. Pradeep Kumar Asthana, Assistant Professor, Institute of Management, Commerce and Economics, Sri Ram Swarup Memorial University, Lucknow, Deva Road, Uttar Pradesh. In this lecture, we will discuss about the methods of human resource accounting valuation. As we know that we have discussed the conceptual framework of human resource accounting in a previous lecture. Now we will talk about how we are going to value the human assets, because it is very important to find out the monetary value of the human resources. If we will not consider the monetary value of the human resources, then that could not be given place in the financial statements, as this is the limitation of the financial statements or the accounting, is that we have to include only those events in the books of account that could be converted into monetary terms. So it is very imperative, it is very important to find out how we are going to value our human resources. So in this, we will discuss some models of or some methods of the valuation of human resources. In this lecture, we will discuss about four methods. First one is the historical cost method. Second one is the opportunity cost method. Third one is the replacement cost method. And fourth one is the standard cost method. Let's talk about the historical cost method. First of all, we have to understand what is historical cost. Historical cost means that cost which has been already incurred. It means that the whole accounting is based on the historical cost method. Like that, this human resource will also be valued on the basis of historical cost method, and this method was developed by Brumet, Flemhol and Pyle. The scholars is of the opinion that the actual cost incurred on recruiting, selecting, hiring, training and developing the human resources of the organization are capitalized and written off over the expected useful life of the human resources. It's the method suggests that whenever one human resource or one employee is recruited and they are given training, from recruiting to the training and development, how much money has been incurred on the employees, that amount should be capitalized and should not be written off in the same year as an expense, but should be amortized over the useful life of the human resources. This method says that capitalizing is the method of maintaining the individual in the organization to produce the services, state rewards to the organization. It means all costs related to the recruitment, training and development of the employees. It means whenever we are or the organizations are recruiting and providing training and developing the employees, the total amount should be capitalized. Then if the human, now we will also discuss what if the human resources are leaving the organization early or leaving the organization more than the expected years. If such phenomena are coming in front, then if human assets expires before the end of expected service life period, then the whole amount that is not written off till now will be charged against the revenue of the year in which such event take place. Suppose that we have thought that our human resource asset will be will go for the 20 years with the organization, but the human resource has expired its contract with the organization within the 15 years. So rest of the 5-year amortized amount should be written off in the end of the 15 years. But when we find that human resources are working in the organization for more than expected years, then amortization would be appropriately rescheduled. If we have thought that the human resource is going to work for 20 years in the organization and the total amount has been amortized, and with the passage of time it is found that the organization is having the services of the human resources for 25 years. Now one rescheduling in the amortization process will be done, and the rescheduling will be done for the 25 years. Now we will talk about some merits of the historical cost method. First one is, this is very easy to understand and this is very easy to work out, because the total accounting is based on the historical cost method. So there is nothing hard and fast rules and regulation which we have to include while valuing our human resources. Next one follows historical accounting. It is totally based on the historical accounting practices. Next, basis for valuing the firm's return on investment. As we have discussed that whenever we have to calculate the real return on investment, then we have to include the amount of human resources in the as investment. So if we are having, we can value the human resources on the basis of historical cost method, then that would be the basis for the valuing the real growth or the real return on investment. As everyone knows that which thing has merits, that will also have some demerits. So the human resource accounting model historical cost method is also suffers from some limitation. First one, difficult to estimate the period, as this method is based on the assumption that we have to find out the period for how much time a employee is going to work for the organization. This is very difficult task, because for the better opportunities or other reasons, the employees can leave the organization. Do not reflect the true value of human assets. Yes, this method is also suffers from the limitation that it is not showing the true value of human asset, as with the passage of time the human resources are getting skill and their value is increasing. Last one is neglects future value. Yes, this method is based on the assumption of historical cost, so it is neglecting the future values or the future benefit which will arise by the organization from the human resources. Next one, we will talk about the opportunity cost method. This method is developed by the Heckman and Jones. According to this method, the value of an employee is determined according to his and her alternative use. It means if any employee has not any alternative use, then that employee has no value. The opportunity cost of an employee or a group of employee is one department is calculated on the basis of the bids by the other departments for those employees. It is simply saying if one employee is working in one department, if he is having some services in the other department or he is capable of providing some services in the other department, then he will be considered, his value would be considered in the calculation of human assets. Or if he is not capable of, or he has no bidding price, he is not demanded by the other department, then his value will not be considered while calculating the amount of human assets. Next method we will discuss here is the replacement cost method. This method was developed by Rensis, Likert and Flamehose. This approach values the human resources at their present replacement cost. It says that if any human resource has not any replacement cost, if we are replacing the existing human resource, how much would be amount of the new person, new employee who is coming at that place with the similar capability, the amount would be considered as the human resource value. So replacement cost refers to the cost that would have to be incurred if the existing employee were to be replaced by the identical one. This model has referred to two different concepts of replacement cost, as individual replacement cost and the positional replacement cost. Here we will talk about individual replacement cost. What is individual or personal replacement cost? So personal replacement cost is the cost that would have to be incurred to replace an employee with the substitute who can provide the same set of services that the employee being replaced might have rendered at various positions he would have occupied during his tenure. It is simply saying that whenever one employee is replaced the ability or the capacity of the employee which were having, the new person should have those capabilities and skillfulness. Next one is position replacement cost. So position replacement costs are those costs which incur to replace the set of services rendered by the employee in a particular position. Suppose that one manager is replaced from one place to another place. Yeah, we have to replace a one manager with the same set of skills. Then we have to find out a person having the diverse qualities so that he could handle his position, not the individual replacement. As we know that this method also suffers from some limitations. So let's talk about some limitations. The limitations are, this method is at variance with the conventional accounting practice of valuing assets. There may be no similar replacement for the similar certain existing asset. In theory, it is very easy to say that we have to replace the certain human resource with the same capacity or the skill person, but in practice it is very hard to find out the identical replacement. Next one, the determination of replacement value is affected by the subjective considerations to a market extent, and therefore the value is likely to differ from man to man. Now we will discuss about standard cost method. Actually, standard cost method is not the method of valuing the human resource, but it is the method of finding out the variance from actual to standards. So this approach was suggested by David Watson. So standard cost of recruiting, hiring, training and developing per grade of employees are determined year after year. In standard cost method, first of all, standards has to be set for the grades of employees, about recruitment, about hiring, about training, about developing the employees. Once the all assets are, once the all processes standards are set, then the actual amount of the recruitment, actual amount of the hiring, actual amount of the training and development should be find out. Now, the standard cost so arrive at for all human beings employed in the organization is value of human resources for accounting purpose. The approach is easy to explain and can work as a suitable basis for the control purpose through the technique of various analysis. In this approach, on the one hand, we are having the standard cost for various categories, and on the other hand, we are having the actual cost of various categories. Very easily, we can find out the variance, how much deviation is there from standard to actual one, and on the basis of that deviation, some corrective measures could be taken. Now, these are the 4 methods which could be employed while evaluating the human resources in an organization. Now, the accountant has to think, accountant has to put his judgment which method has to put while calculating the human asset, as all the methods as historical cost method, or opportunity cost method, or replacement cost method, or standard cost method has their own merits and demerits. And now the work of the accountant is going to be heavy, because he has to choose the one model from these 4 to calculate the value of human resources to put the amount in the financial statements. Thank you very much.